Hi BookTube, it's Connie or CMF 1267 and I'm going to come today to do a video about the end of year goals and goals for 2018. So basically my end of year goals are very simple, finishing off the books that I've got checked out from the library. So I'm reading, I just did a video that talked to you about what I was hoping to finish up this week while I'm off work. So I'm currently reading How to Breathe Underwater by Julie Oranger, Killers of the Flower Moon by, I want to say David Grann, but I'm not 100% sure about that. And then I've got The Collector by John Fowles, Her Body and Other Parties by Carmen Maria Machado, Dark at the Crossing by Elliot Ackerman. I just checked out today, this is my December book club pick for one of my book clubs. It's called The Seven Sisters by Margaret Drabble. I have no idea what it's about. My January book club pick for one of my other book clubs is A Heartbreaking Work of Staggering Genius by Dave Eggers. So I'll get that done. And then I think Savage Reads recommended this, and I don't even remember what he said about it, but I immediately checked it out from the library, put it on hold at the library. And it's called The People in the Trees. And it is by Hanya Yanagihara. So, and there might be one other book out in my other room. I don't remember what it is, but I'll finish that as well. And then there's two books that I currently own. One is on my Kindle, but they're by Andy Weir, so I want to read The Martian. And then this month, my book of the month pick was Artemis. So I would like to read both of those before the end of the year. And next year is my year to read my own books and stop checking out so many books from the library or buying a lot of books. So what I was doing and kind of how I keep track of all my books is I have this big table that is like 10 pages long that has all my books on it, and then as I add new books in, especially books that I check out from the library, I have to put them in front of the books that I own. So you'll see. And then I bold out books once I finish them. But then the ones that aren't bolded are still books that I own that I need to read. So I was kind of going from like my oldest books to newest, but I thought that's stupid because it'll take me a year or more before I get to all these like book of the month picks that I'm getting. And you get them before they actually come out, so it kind of defeats the purpose of getting them. So this year what I'm going to be doing is trying to read my book of the month club picks. They're going to be a priority in the beginning of the year, and then every month, whatever my book of the month pick is, I want to read it within that month. It'll depend on like what my where I am, what book I'm in the middle of, and what my book club books are. But other than that, that's kind of how I want to do it. I also want to read more translated books, and Sophie, and I don't remember her channel, she was talking about reading the whole year. She was going to read a book by one author from every country in the world, and I thought that is so interesting because I do read a lot of different authors, but I kind of have like this clump of countries that I read from. So I kind of went through the books that I have, and books that I've gotten through, like I got two here, I think from Mothbox, and a couple other ones that I had picked up. So basically I don't want to read 107, I would never be able to read 170 books in a year, but I don't want to tie myself down to that. So what I thought though was like if I could read one book a month that is from an author from a country that you know, I don't normally pick from. But this year I did pick books that I just already had. I do have a list of a couple other books that I may pick up this year once I get through the books that I have. So basically I have the book from Iceland I'll read is a book called I Remember You. It's a ghost story. and it is by Ursa Sigurdardóttir. I probably just trashed her name. Purple Hibiscus I have owned forever, and it is written by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. She is Nigerian. And then I have Solar Bones from Ireland, written by Mike McCormack. And then two books that I think these were, I know this one was in a moth box. And this is a country that I've never read from an author. Now those three I've read from authors from those countries before, but I don't think I've ever read anything translated from South Korean. And this is called 100 Shadows. So that is Korean. And then this book is called Ties. And it's by Domenico Starnoni. And this 100 Shadows is by Jung Yoon. So this is translated from Italian. And I have read, I think I read Umberto Eco a couple years ago. So I have read like one or two Italian authors, but it's not some place that I read a lot of. And then I've got, you know, some things written down, like from Japan. I'd really like to read that Memoirs of a Polar Bear. Germany, I would like to read, you know, I can't believe I've never read this, The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. I would, for France, like to pick up The Count of Monte Cristo, which will also count as one of my classics. So now we're getting to the other thing I want to do, which is I want to read at least 6 classics this year. I've made a list of books that I already own, and I want to read at least 6 of those. So I have East of Eden, Anna Karenina, The Good Earth, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Jane Eyre, Wuthering Heights, A Light in August, Great Expectations, A Tale of Two Cities, and I have a book of Mark Twain's that has several of his novels in it, so at least read maybe one of those. So I think I listed 12, but I'm going to pick at least 6. So if I can read at least 6 classics this year. And then the last thing I want to do is this year, I want to read the winning book of the Man Booker International, the Man Booker, the Bailey's Prize for Women, and the National Book Award, the books in fiction. And I'll take a look at the nonfiction, but yeah, so those are just some of my reading goals this year. I'm sure some of them will change, but most importantly is going to be reading the books that I already own. And I'm hoping I can keep up with about 10 books a month. That's kind of been a good average for me. I've had a couple books that have been about, I've had a couple months where I've had about 15 books. But pretty much it's been, you know, if I can do at least 10 books a month, I'll really get through some of the books that I have to read, so that I own. You're not even seeing what I own on Kindle. So, okay. Hopefully everyone has a great Thanksgiving if you're American, and I have the week off, so I'm very excited about that. And it's starting the holiday season. I hope everyone is getting off to a good start there, and I will talk to you later. Bye.